Every bull market creates rivalries. Bitcoin versus gold, AI versus humans. And inside crypto, there's one that never stops, Ethereum versus Solana. Everyone calls it a technology war. Speed versus security. Decentralization versus efficiency. But that's not what's really happening. What's happening is a liquidity war. Because this fight isn't about who has better tech, it's about who gets the money first when the next wave hits. Let's be honest. Ethereum used to be untouchable. The king of smart contracts. Billions locked in DeFi. NFTs, DAOs, stablecoins, all born there. But somewhere along the way, the kingdom got heavy. Gas fees climbed, transactions slowed, and the excitement faded. Ethereum became stable, but too comfortable. Then Solana showed up. Cheap, fast, ambitious, the loud new kid. People laughed at first. They said, it'll never scale. Then it did. Today, Solana is the most active blockchain by daily users. Not by market cap, by activity. And in markets, activity is everything. Liquidity follows activity like gravity. It doesn't care about ideology or age, it moves where people move. And right now, people are moving fast. Ethereum is the safe choice. Solana is the exciting one. Ethereum is where institutions go. Solana is where the next generation builds. They're not opposites. They're two sides of the same system. One represents structure. The other represents momentum. But make no mistake, this is a real competition. Because in a liquidity-constrained world, attention is currency. Every trader, every developer, every community member is liquidity. And both sides are fighting to capture it. Let's break it down. Ethereum's biggest strength is credibility. It has the deepest developer ecosystem in crypto. It's battle-tested, predictable, and secure. If you're building something that has to last, you build it on Ethereum. That's why major projects like Lido, Uniswap, and Maker still live there. It's the Wall Street of Web3 old money, big brains, serious suits. But that stability comes at a cost. Fees, speed, complexity. Using Ethereum often feels like using a bank. Reliable, but slow. Solana, on the other hand, feels like a racetrack. Fast, responsive, always pushing limits. It doesn't care about tradition, it cares about results. And that attitude attracts energy. Look at what's happening today. While Ethereum debates upgrades and governance proposals, Solana's shipping new products every week. Memecoins, on-chain order books, AI experiments, gaming, it's a wave of creativity. That's what crypto was supposed to be, experimentation. Ethereum became the standard. Solana became the spark. And in markets, sparks matter. Because liquidity isn't logical, it's emotional. People don't just invest in technology. They invest in energy. Solana's energy feels like early Ethereum, hungry, loud, unpolished, but alive. Of course, Ethereum isn't dead. Far from it. It's evolving, just slower. Layer 2 networks like Arbitrum, Optimism, and Base are bringing speed and scale back to Ethereum's core. Together, they're forming a network of highways instead of one slow road. It's smart. It's modular. It's long-term thinking. But it's also fragmented. Liquidity is scattered across layers. Bridges, res-taking, wrapped tokens, they all create small inefficiencies. Solana doesn't have that problem. It's one chain, one state, one engine. Everything happens in the same place instantly. That's powerful. When traders can move money in seconds, liquidity flows faster. And fast liquidity is living liquidity. But the real question isn't which is better. It's which one captures the next liquidity wave first. When global liquidity returns, and it will, capital will flood into the assets and ecosystems that feel alive. Where users are growing, narratives are forming, and momentum is building. Right now, that's Solana. From NFTs to DeFi to memecoins, Solana is the playground again. Retail investors love it because it's cheap and fun. Developers love it because it's fast and flexible. It feels like a place where things happen. And in crypto, that's everything. But don't underestimate Ethereum's comeback potential. It has something Solana doesn't yet, trust from institutions. Big funds, traditional banks, and tokenization platforms all choose Ethereum first. Why? Because it feels safe. When real-world assets like bonds or funds move on-chain, they need legal clarity and security. Ethereum provides that. That's why giants like BlackRock and Franklin Templeton launched tokenized funds on it. So while Solana wins hearts, Ethereum still holds the keys to serious money. It's like two cities. Solana is the startup hub, noisy, creative, fast-paced. Ethereum is the financial district, established, structured, and well-funded. Both are growing. Both are necessary. And in time, they might merge indirectly. How? Through liquidity bridges, res-taking protocols, and shared stablecoin layers. When that happens, users won't even know which chain they're on. They'll just interact. That's the future, a multi-chain world where liquidity flows freely like water. The fight today is just the warm-up. But let's be honest, Solana has momentum right now. After surviving its crash and FTX collapse, it rebuilt from zero. That resilience created something powerful, belief. And belief is liquidity. When people believe again, they show up. They build, they spend, they trade, and liquidity returns. That's why Solana's rise isn't just technical, it's emotional. It represents a comeback story. And markets love comebacks. Ethereum's story is different. It's no longer about proving itself. It's about scaling itself. The challenge now is how to maintain dominance while evolving. The answer might be res-taking. By turning Ethereum into a yield engine for the entire crypto economy, res-taking protocols like EigenLayer are transforming it into the base layer of trust. That's Ethereum's secret weapon. Not speed, not memes, trust. When institutions tokenize trillions in assets, they'll do it on the chain that feels most secure. That's Ethereum's fortress. Solana might win the hype cycle. Ethereum will win the settlement layer. And both will grow together. So who really wins? Maybe neither. Maybe both. Because liquidity doesn't care about sides. It cares about flow. And both chains, in their own way, are building pipelines for that flow. When Solana's culture meets Ethereum's credibility, when speed meets depth, that's when the next rail expansion begins. Not chain versus chain. Chain with chain. That's the future narrative nobody's talking about yet. For now, investors will keep comparing numbers. TPS, TVL, users, market cap. But those are just snapshots. The real story is dynamic, where liquidity wants to go next. And right now, it wants movement. It wants stories. It wants risk. That's why Solana is shining. It's not perfect, but it's alive. And life attracts liquidity like a magnet. Ethereum will reawaken when the next institutional wave hits. Solana will lead the creative cycle before that. They'll trade places again and again. Because competition isn't destruction. It's evolution. Remember this, every big market needs two forces, stability and speed. One holds the system together. The other pushes it forward. Ethereum is the anchor. Solana is the engine. And together, they're driving crypto into its next era. So the next time someone asks, which one is better? You can tell them the truth. It's not about better. It's about balance. The real winner isn't Ethereum or Solana. It's liquidity itself, flowing faster, deeper, and smarter than ever. And when the next wave of capital arrives, both will ride it. One with tradition, one with momentum. Together, shaping the next financial frontier.